Hello guys, welcome to the Trading Parrot. Look at this, we are back in the bear market. I am just kidding. This is so far just a very typical and humble correction if you have to ask where are we. In today's video we're gonna be looking into a selection of altcoins that are calling my attention. Some of them were requested by your comments in the video this morning, like Fantom and Uniswap. I also picked a couple of them that you requested via Telegram, like Pepe and Whiff, and I took the liberty to select some other coins that are having some sort of correction today, just like all the other ones. Some of them are performing, like Pepe and Floki, so we're gonna have a look at why is that and see if we can spot some opportunities. Guys, if you like this type of videos, make sure that you're subscribed to the channel, hit the notification bell so you get notified every time I put out one of these videos. And as you can see, these last two videos with TA on Bitcoin reach around 7k views, pretty much double the views that we get when we do altcoin. So make sure that if you guys want me to continue reviewing altcoins without damaging the perception of the YouTube algorithm on my videos and causing less views on the other videos on the channel, help me with that by hitting the like, writing down a comment, share the video. We need to convince the YouTube algorithm that the altcoin TA that I'm doing is not that bad. So as I mentioned this morning, we have a reading of altcoin season at 71, which is crossing below the line of 75. That is pretty much the end of the altcoin season. I suspect that we're gonna make another hit to the upside when it comes to altcoin season. If you look at the previous cycle 4 years ago in December, we were still in Bitcoin season. The altcoin season started in January. So more like thinking that this is the end, I will say we got ahead of ourselves. We entered into altcoin season pretty much a month earlier compared to 4 years ago. So I am tempted to think that we should remain in this area, maybe have a drop down in here and then come back into altcoin season, just the index, to confirm that it's not the end of it. Because even though gold has stopped climbing, which is great, but what we really want is gold to come down and have a decent correction, allowing that flow of cash to go into high risk assets like altcoins. Dollar has been held by the resistance of 106, so at least it stopped pumping like it did for so many weeks in a row until it reached 107. That again is good, but what we really want is the dollar to come back down. This also applies to the global M2 that now is pushing slightly higher, but actually you have to more or less zoom in to see really that there is more liquidity, and indeed what stands out is the drop and not the reversal microscopic here to the upside. So what I'm trying to say is I think there is still room for altcoin season, but I wouldn't count on 134 days of altcoin season like we had in 2021. I am absolutely happy if I was wrong and suddenly we start seeing all the other economic factors shift into a risk-friendly environment, but that is still not the case. So that could potentially shorten, and I think it wouldn't hurt if you thought we can have an altcoin season. It can still last a little bit more, but maybe, just maybe, it won't be that long like the one we had 4 years ago. If we are wrong on that, and if it becomes even longer than that, happy to ride that wave anyways. This morning there was nothing in green. Now we are starting to see some resilience. Unfortunately, I don't like when the first guys to go into the green are just the meme coins. That typically stinks, and it shows that there's not much expectation for the wider market to have a big bounce to the upside. But it's just a thought, it's not a forecast. Let's go into the altcoins. I'm gonna start first with Pepe. Very simple, we had a resistance here on the weekly at 1718. That was support in November 25th. Since then, we have had a rally of 54% from support. Most of the rally happened last week, and at the moment we have an indecision candle, which is some seconds in red and sometimes in green, which is funny as I'm speaking. You can see the weekly RSI had that breakout on 11 of November, and things are looking pretty bullish at the moment with an RSI of 75 on the weekly. What I'm gonna do now is use a Fibonacci extension from the beginning. I'm actually gonna use this low in here, which is 5th of August, to the top of September. and I think we have already reached that target. So let's do it from February into this top and this low in here. Yes, this is the one, because at the moment we are facing 1272 at a price of 27 and 3. Let me mark that down there, and we are gonna start facing the 1618, the Fibonacci golden pocket, which is at the moment a rally of just 24% roughly to the upside. That will complete the golden pocket from this impulsive move with the bull flag, and that is the target of the breakout that we did in here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drop down the time frame to see if we can spot any opportunities on different time frames. You can see that we reach the 1272, which is this line in here at 2649. We saw a rejection, and now we are trying once again to do the same thing. Let's go to the daily time frame. Although I will say be careful once we reach the golden pocket, because there's always some reaction to that price. You can see that this is a meme coin, and in this first incredible rally of 1100% that we have in April 2024, you can tell in here that it went way beyond the 1618. Pretty much it doubled the profits of that golden pocket ratio. That is just a slightly more risky than conservative target, so it doesn't mean that it will stop there. And I will be looking into what happens with Pepe once it reaches 50. That is the 2618, and it's also a psychological level that will remove one of the zeros in the front of the number, and I'm pretty sure that many investors, if we get there, will be looking into taking profits. Floki is looking pretty bullish as well, just looking at the chart, nothing to do with fundamentals in here, and the reason I'm calling this bullish is because it's a bull flag. It's been inside the flag longer than Bitcoin did from March in December, and is still inside the bull flag, but that's not necessarily something bad. The longer you stay in a bull flag, the more energy you accumulate, whether to break down or to break out to the upside. And we've been 280 days inside this range, and probably at the moment we are above the point of control, which is bullish, and we are testing the resistance at 27,680. The good news is that the weekly has already broken out. However we place the weekly, we can say it broke out in 9th of September, but if you decide to go with this more conservative way of placing the resistance, we get a breakout on 4th of November, and so far so good, pointing up. At the moment being held by the resistance, you can tell that the RSI is also showing the effect of that. RSI 64 seems to be a big deal on Floki here, here, and here. 3 times we got held a little bit there. Hopefully we are gonna have the same reaction as here, where we cross it above. The only thing that is quite worrying at the moment is the number of longs. At the moment is a 52, which at first sight look pretty high, but let's look at the past, and you can see that we can go way beyond in that number. It's just that since July, longs haven't been that high, but we could say that in the whole history of delta longs versus shorts, at the moment we are seeing a breakout in number of longs. That might be also positive for Floki, but I will never enter a long when it comes to timing, reaching this level of exhaustion based on statistics. So although it is a breakout, I will prefer to hit that number, see a rejection, and enter on confirmation. Just to give you an example, also in this area in here, longs started getting very overheated, and suddenly they get hit and boom, all liquidated. So there are 2 setups on Floki that I'm interested to look into. One is a breakout setup, which is looking at this area in here. If we form some sort of cap and handle with a neck at 27,785, and we can manage to hold above that with a daily candle, then in that case what I will do is take the high of the cap and place it in here and target 7651. Another alternative is just to do the extension on the Fibonacci to the bottom and then targeting 1618, which is just roughly below the previous target I mentioned, and it actually coincides with the Fibonacci extension of 2. So one way of entering into that trade and making sure you don't enter with all the longs in an extreme is to either wait for a small rejection here and enter at a slightly lower price before breaking the resistance. That is quite risky. Consider using the previous support below as a stop loss in that case. And the second alternative is to wait for the breakout, which could be impulsive, reaching already 33,146 because we have an order block there. And at that point, I will expect the longs to go too far, and then there could be some liquidation of longs, and hopefully at that point you re-enter if we retest the neck of the cap and handle. Let's go with Monero XMR. On the weekly RSI, we can see Monero already broke out on the 25th of November. Since then, it has reached 72 on RSI, which is the same levels of RSI that we were reaching in October 2020, December, and February. We remain around those levels, slightly higher, I have to say 74, maybe 73, and that came after being at RSIs of 63. We've been below 63 pretty much the whole year. We just broke that. So take this as a guidance that there can be some movements now around here on the RSI weekly that should help us anticipate some rejections and how can the nature of the price creep up towards the over $500, which is the all-time high on May 2021. Levels of support and resistance, we clearly have been facing resistance at 176 throughout not just this year but pretty much since 2022, and it's so significant December this year because it's the first time that we managed to break it. We haven't managed to get to the next resistance, which is 254 based on this order block in here. After that we have another order block at 322, and then after that $500, which is also psychological level, very important. So let's do a Fibonacci extension like this to the bottom of the price, and let's see where is the golden pocket. That is at 911, very interesting number, and then 1272, a bit more conservative at $728. Just looking at the 4-hour RSI, we can see that we are very close to support here on the RSI. Hopefully it's gonna hold there at the $200 and not break down. Closing 4-hour candles with RSI below 47 on the 4-hour could increase the drawdown that we are seeing. You can tell that with this recent aggressive candle in here of 13% down, it has flushed loads of the longs halfway through to getting too many shorts, which is good. On the daily we have bearish divergence, so careful with entering here. Maybe look up for a better opportunity at support from 190 to 180 is where the value is. If broken below that, then we enter into the previous range. We shouldn't be doing that after this breakout. It can happen, everything is possible, but this range belongs to what we were doing in the bear market, and if re-entering, then we completely invalidate all the merit of having had finally broken out above it. Let's go to Whiff. You can see that we don't have a lot of price action to analyze. This got listed in March. It has broken out, it has retest, it's on the second layer of the breakout. So we got one impulsive move, correction, another impulsive move, and we are sort of entering the second correction. The support is at 2.8. I shouldn't say correction, it's just higher highs and higher lows. So we are forming that higher low, just to be more precise. Twice we have held at 2.8, which was resistance in here. And I like to place this on the daily and use this impulsive move to $4.8. Let's correct these numbers. This should be here and this should be roughly around there. And then we can look into the 1618 that it should have been placed at $2.6. That is the target of the daily breakout. I think there is a low quality breakout that started on Friday and we are coming for the retest. Let's hope that the pullback on the altcoins is not going to become a deeper one, in which case we could be causing a fake out in here with Whiff. Let's have a look at Uni and FTM. If I go to the weekly chart, I see that they are doing something extremely similar. Uni is this one. You can see the high at $16. It has managed to put a new high and then it's coming to retest right tipping on the highs of March 4. FTM is doing just the same. It's really interesting that the same person asked for these two coins and the two coins are doing the same. Breaking above, in this case $1.2, and then coming for a retest at 1.2. I'm gonna correct the support on FTM. As long as we don't break below RSI 61 on the weekly, the impulsive move can have another leg up. Ideally, from the point of view of the price action, we want to respect the 1.2 because we broke up, and ideally we just stay there and continue going to the upside. If we come back below that, we could be coming back for a retest of 0.94, which is not a very specific price. We could be placing it at 96 just because of this high levels of support and resistance shouldn't be treated just as a single price, more like an area in here. So if you think 99 or if you are thinking 92, 12.2 in that close proximity, that doesn't mean it's wrong. It's the area of interest what we are looking at. The Fibonacci projection is putting on the table $1.92. That's of course as long as we hold ideally 1.2, and if not 96 cents. And on Uni probably something very similar. Let's do it from here to there. In this case we have quite low price of $4.6, and that it's bringing down the target. Of course, the lower you go in the pullback, the lower the target goes as well. So in this case it's at $26.4, the golden pocket, and that is giving another 55% up. Just be careful because they have already produced FTM a 450 up and Uni 300%. So in my opinion, taking a long at this point is just mental. But if you are already in a long and you enter at lower prices, the 1272 and the 1618 are great areas to take some profits in case you're going to be doing some TA to re-enter, or if that is the target that you want to take and then move on to another coin. If you are a long-term holder and you're thinking how high can it go, those coins, that's a different analysis. I'm just analyzing the expansion of this impulsive move internally to this area. If I use the previous bull market, for example, on FTM, and I place it like this, of course I can get to $5.8 on Fantom, and I'm gonna use this price there just because this one in here is almost nonsense and it happened all in a single week, so I'm gonna ignore it. That's giving me $74 for Uni. If you insist that you want to do from the bottom, then you get still $75, so it's fine. The next coin is AMP and is building some sort of bullish pattern in here. Sometimes I don't even care if it's a cup and handle or an inverse head and shoulders. Neither of them are perfect, because if it's an inverse head and shoulder, this only reaches there and it doesn't get to the full length of this side of the inverse head and shoulder. And if you do the cup and handle, yeah, you get it full, but there is an element in here which is too high. So whatever, I'm just gonna say it's a bull. It's a bullish pattern, and the next is roughly at 12 for AMP. Very similar to the setup that we looked at on Jasmine the other day. You can see that Jasmine is now retesting the neck at 41 cents. We talk about that when we were at 55, and we say if we go to the neck and we hold it, that is awesome. So maybe getting an entry at 41, but having a clear idea on how much you can afford to lose to put a stop loss in case the setup failed, or if you want a DCA in here somehow. You can see the similarities with AMP, but in this case, AMP hasn't managed yet to break out. Jasmine is already retesting the neck from the top. In this case, we are being rejected by the neck, so we have to be a little bit more patient with AMP at the moment. On the RSI, breakout happened end of October, or if you want to place it like this, 12th of August. That was the area of accumulation with the first higher low, and at the moment, it's already seeing 264% to the upside. Let's look at Turbo. Very interesting price action. It was listed in May 2023, so we have some downside in here. It's very interesting because it's printing bull flags constantly and seeing breakouts pretty much all the time. So bull flag breakout, bull flag breakout, and each and every time is reaching a higher RSI, with the exception of what we are starting to see from July into now, where we are putting lower lows for RSIs. We even broke below this ascending support, and now we hit it from below as a resistance. At the moment, if we place this line like this as a descending trend line, we can see that we have a local breakout on the weekly, and I was thinking, yeah, we can reach maybe 83 RSI from here if it holds this week. So that could be the play for Turbo, hoping that we don't start building another bull flag in here too soon. So let's have a look at the daily. The daily already had the breakout, the retest, and it's pretty much in a movement that could be approaching a point of exhaustion. You can also see that it's facing resistance at 12.33. Support at the moment is at 68.98.8, and the middle of the range is 95.76. So I think the right thing to do in here is to wait for how is the price going to react at 12.37.19, just because that is the previous all-time high that was put on October 15. The pattern looks bullish. This seems to be some sort of bottom information ranging, so it's a good area to pay attention in case we see a breakout from there. quite high risk since the RSIs are extremely overextended at the point that we are expected to break out. So watch out for something like this and then another attempt once the RSI has cooled down on the daily. This will be an area of value followed by this one in here. And in terms of target, let me do something like this. Based on this pullback, we got a target of the 1618 at 23.2820, and based on the high of this pattern from the neck, pretty much is located in confluence right there. So watch out for that target of 23.27 in case we manage to break out from the top of this neck. The neck is pretty much the previous all-time high. Alright guys, if you want to trade these altcoins on an exchange that contains most of the altcoins and not just on spot but also with leverage, then consider Bybit. I have a link in the description to help you open a new account and to claim rewards of up to 30,000 based on trading volume. By using my link, you also get the lowest fees to trade. And I've got two exchanges, non-KYC, no VPN required. One of them is Floki, currently running a campaign up until the 14th of December. On this campaign, you can claim deposits, bonuses, and trading bonus. I also have a partnership with Bybit, currently offering 9k in bonus and 40% fee discounts. People are asking, do I need KYC where I live? What I do recommend is if where you live you have issues with KYC, try first Floki and see if it's requiring VPN. And if it does, then try Bybit. I'm sure that one of them is gonna do the work when it comes to withdrawals, deposits, and trading altcoins with leverage and all of that. Thanks so much for watching the video. Remember to keep liking specifically these altcoin videos that are getting half of the views of Bitcoin TA analysis. And if you want me to continue doing these videos without damaging too much the SEO of the channel due to the lack of interest in watching altcoin videos in my channel, then like it, share it, write comments, subscribe to the channel, post it on social media and forums, and all of that should help mitigate the issues I'm having with altcoin videos. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.